And you're listening to Harrisburg's famous community radio. The Voice 107, 104.
Welcome, my brothers and sisters, to the Richard James Show on 17104, The Voice. Greetings and salutations. Welcome again to the Richard James Show. And I'm excited today. I'm thrilled. This is the first day of Women's History Month, where we dedicate and appreciate women. I'll put it as simple as that. And in doing so, I am most honored and pleased to have someone who I respect and admire very, very much, Dona Elena Hatcher. And she's an author, among other things, a thespian, a writer. She's done many things. She's been in movies. She's been in plays. She's modeled. She has her own firm. She's done many, many things. And I want to say, welcome, Dona. Welcome to the Richard James Show.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. This is so exciting.
Dona has written a book. She has a new book that's out, that's available on Amazon. Word Dances, Poems on Pointe. And I'm going to start out the show by reading a poem that I wrote initially for my wife, but for women in general, which I think some of the aspects of this poem capsulizes some of the things and thoughts that I have in regards to Dona. And just to tell you a little secret, don't tell anybody, but Dona and my wife are the daughters of two brothers, Robert Hatcher and William Hatcher. So we are family.
Yeah.
But so I learned to appreciate her skills because I've been able to view some of the things that she's done. And here's the poem. She cared enough to face those racks of pain that test the heart and drive most men insane. With pride and strength, she works from dawn to dusk. With aching hands, she never cries or fuss. A simple smile, a tear, and love's embrace. Fate unveils pain upon her face. She will not reach except to lend a hand. She does not long for heaven's promised land. Instead, she faces each day with a faint smile and to the world declares it's all worthwhile. A braver woman I've never, ever seen to live a life of pain and not be mean. I must believe that God is on her side. I think of her with love and glowing pride. And when that day arrives and one must die, there be no deep regrets to make her cry. She'll wear a smile upon that lovely face and say, so long to all the human race.
Wow, I just got goosebumps.
That's you, Dona.
That's beautiful.
You have faced obstacle after obstacle, and you've defeated all of them, and you're here to discuss. I'm going to present to you, my audience, with respect and regard, Dona Elena Hatcher. Come to us, Dona, in your own way.
Well, aside from being happy to be here, to be with my cousin Richard, and of course to promote my book that I'm so proud of. It took me a whole lifetime to really put this together. It's never too late. The point is here that the other reason why I'm really happy to be here is that I cheated death only a couple of years ago.
Yes.
I was working as an actress on a television show called The Good Fight. I was a background actor, but a regular one, so I had a regular job. And I came home from my night from work and had a little pain in my shoulder. I wound up getting sick all night long. Something was telling me to go to the hospital, but it was 2:00 in the morning and I really wasn't in the mood. But anyway, what actually eventually happened is I wound up in the hospital, and what had happened the night before is I had an aortic aneurysm, which means I was close to death. I only had a few hours for an operation. I did that and came out of it just amazingly. I actually felt angels with me, guarding me through this. And when I recouped, which took a very long time, and I had several complications and 2 other heart operations following, uh, I healed miraculously within 2 years. So while I was healing, I thought, okay, if not now, when? You know, I really, really had to get the book together. I'd been writing my whole life, so I just kind of pulled it all and came up with the title and the theme, and it just came together. It took so long, and it was so hard, but it is so worth it to see uh, your stuff in print. And I finally got up enough nerve to share it. I mean, poems are very personal. They're like personal letters to
Yes.
yourself, or personal letters to God, or personal, they're personal. And it's not easy. Even being an actress, you know, it's different when you're taking and reading someone else's words. But then when you read your own, that's a whole nother ballgame. Don't you think, Richard?
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. And
But
sometimes,
anyway, so this is such a work of blood, sweat, and tears, literally. And I'm just so proud of it being relatively successful the first time out. And not only that, it looks, you know, when you have a dream and then the dream really comes true, it really came true. I really pictured the book, I pictured the type, and now and then to connect with the right designer. But then again, I'm kind of spiritual and I pray about everything. And I think the right designer came my way and everything fell into place. So I'd love to share one with you right now.
yes, please. I'm
Can we
looking
do that?
forward.
So to pull in this all together in terms of Women's Month, I also wanted to follow up on what Richard mentioned, that yes, his wife is my first cousin. And this is the picture on the left, uh, the older one, is our grandmother. I never met her. She happened to pass away 6 months after giving birth to my dad. So obviously, I never met her. She's a beautiful woman. And
Yes.
next to her is her daughter, and that's my aunt. And she was 16 when her mother passed away. So she kind of took the place of my grandmom.
Yes.
The name of this poem that I'm going to read is A Warm Iron at Her Feet. And I got to put on glasses. This is in honor of my dear Aunt Rosalie, the smiling one in the pink. To my Aunt Rosalie, you told me as a young girl a long time ago. You stared death in the face, but you did not know your dear mama was about to go. She just had my dad, your baby brother, only 6 months ago. She said she was cold, smiled and sighed. Your brother Bill knew and ran outside. You went and warmed an iron to place at her feet. At just 16, the gesture was so loving and so sweet, trying to bring back your mother with a warm iron at her feet. Looking back at your long and well-lived life, you were such a loving family member and wife. I admired your accomplishments, sense of adventure and style. Always gracious, religious, you loved to laugh and smile. Your natural harmony and beauty came through with everything you do. I learned to be proud, strong, and independent because of you.
Yes.
But when I saw you last, my aunt, just the other day, your gaze was already far, far away, holding so many words you could no longer say. I was staring death in the eye, not knowing how to say goodbye. We squeezed each other's hands, and I cried. So, as I see you now, in your peaceful eternal sleep, I think of placing a warm iron at your feet. I wish I could bring back my aunt with a warm iron at her feet.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And she was a wonderful woman.
And that's that.
Graduate at the University of Pennsylvania, psychologist, just a wonderful person. Continue now. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You held up one of my favorite people.
Yes, just amazing. And again, The fact that this is a true story,
Yes.
it just makes it all the more, makes her all the more special.
Yes.
So again, we're going to talk about another woman of strength. And I'm going to read a poem called Woman of the Wilderness. It's in contrast in my motivation because the first poem was about somebody I knew and felt very close to. And this poem I wrote making pretend I knew this woman, and maybe she was me. I think we're everybody. Woman of the Wilderness. It seems native woman walks alone. The cold, stark wilderness is home. Perfectly safe, warm, and protected is she. The idea of fear is an unknown quality. Living with all of Earth's creatures and non resistant, she is constantly in a state of peaceful acceptance. A storm is no bother, since it is only an expected other. Always prepared on the frontier, because one knows how bitter and hard winter winds always blow. Earthbound woman wrapped deep in hide of buffalo. Thick fur around her neck, already adorned with leather strings strung of teeth and bones for strength and courage. Her hair, her hat is the hollowed head of the brave black bear. It covers feathers from eagle's wings braided into her hair. Steady feet are swathed in warm lambskin and soft squirrel fur. Together, the moon and a million stars light her way in the dark. Wise white snow owls act as alarms throughout the thick woods. Although no beast goes near with any intention to harm her, being one with nature, there is a natural respect of space out here. Knowing her land, she borrows from the earth to make medicines that will heal someone in need on the other side of the wilderness. Native woman, she never walks alone. Shadows are always before, beside, and behind her. The shadows are her airbound ancestors, still walking silently along their paths.
Beautiful. Absolutely adorable. Wonderful. Your words reach out and touch you. They really do.
I didn't hear you.
I say your words reach out and touch the soul. They really do.
I hope so.
There's so much meaning and feeling in what you're saying and how you project yourself.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
So for that moment, I was that woman, and
Yes.
I was out in the frontier and wanting to help my elders and feeling the strength of my ancestors who also did the same thing.
Yeah.
So that's that one. And I'd like to know if anyone's listening, if they felt something too.
Yeah.
And I think the reason I write is not so much for me. Sometimes it is just to vent, but mostly it's to engage, to have someone else maybe follow along my little storyline and make pretend they're on the frontier too, and maybe to feel a little something. And as I mentioned, I called my book Word Dances because I look at them like a dance. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. But generally, it's going to make you happy. It's going to make you feel like you're in love. It's going to make you feel like you want to find love. It makes you feel something. And that's my point of writing, is to feel something, to remember how I felt before, and to engage you into feeling maybe a little piece of what I did too.
Let me just say this. If there's anyone that wants to call in and comment or question, feel free to do so. There's something I haven't spoken to Chris, but I'm sure it's not a problem. If you want to come in and call in, and Donna, listening to your poem and watching you project, there's a powerful lady that brought you in this world. I mean, a beautiful, powerful, classy woman. Your mother is something else. I have a tremendous
Oh,
amount of respect for her. And I'm listening to you and I'm enjoying you and get involved, but I have her in the back of my mind also because she's
that
there.
is so great.
You come from great genes. I just want to say that.
Thank you so much. My mom is a very happy 91 years old, and I'm
Wonderful.
so happy she's still here. So,
Yes, indeed.
um, well, if we don't have anything else, I'd like to move on a little with another poem.
Yes.
Gonna keep it kind of family today, Richard,
Well,
if you
that's a
don't
good
mind.
thing.
So I have another short one, and this one is again about my dad. And I'd like to share a little picture. Oh, we didn't mention that within my book, I put pictures in.
Right.
So I think I'm going to ask for picture number 35. So you can go along with that when I read this. It's called, well, I'll get started on it.
Yeah.
It's called If Only for a Day. And this is about Daddy and me. By the way, my dad passed away a while back, and I wrote this afterwards. If only for a day, would you know what to say? Would I? We would hug and kiss. Would we laugh or cry? Where we were cut off is where we would begin. But how could we let that day come to an end again? If we had one more day, Dad, how much we'd have to say. If only we had one more day.
Donna, your father left far too early, and
He
we
did.
know that far too early, totally unexpected. And he was a beautiful man. I enjoyed talking to him. I spent time with him. He was very close to his elder brother, William.
Yes.
Thought very highly of him. I sit next to your father during his brother's funeral,
Mm,
and we shared some thoughts and we shared some feelings. It was difficult for him to go up and look at the casket because of how close they are. But these are two strong men, William and Robert Hatcher, and your father, I know, loved you very much and loved his daughters and his family very much. If you don't mind my comment and saying that, but that's when I see that picture touches me to see you as a child there laying in the arms of your dad. I told you about that picture,
yes.
something else, because I
It,
look at you and then I remember him.
thank you. It's so sweet. I'm so glad I had those types of memories early on.
Yes.
Um, he was a professional waterman, I call him, but he was a
Yes,
Navy
sir.
officer.
Yes, he was.
Uh, loved the water, and so do I. I
Right.
got that from him.
And
Um,
he's
to
buried in
round this
arms.
out, do we have enough time?
Sure, we got plenty of time. We got all the
Okay.
time in the world.
I'm going to stay on him for a second because also in my book, Word Dances, Poems on Point, I wrote another poem called Still Grieving. I'm sure everyone can relate to the grieving process. It's part of life. It's tough. We do it. Again, this is how I vent some, and I hope it might help some. Still grieving about my dad. As I lay on my back on the cold earth dirt, gasping for fresh air, any air. I can't cry, scream, or breathe. I feel I'm all boxed in by a glass coffin no one else sees. Eyes glazed over wide, watching without knowing why. Hands clawing at what I can't see, pushing against what I can't seem to move out of my way. I have no strength. I have no will. Every once in a blue moon, I catch a glimpse of a dark sky or a black star passing by. Something I can't understand tugs harder and gets heavier on my heart every day. Something I don't know throws clouds in my eyes so I can't see clearly now. Something I can't hear, it fills my head with sounds so I can't think anymore. I'm so tired of fighting my way through this invisible war. Just trying to survive, nothing more. But I can't move. I have no will. Oh, I do long to be aware and alive along with everyone else. But now I'm flat on my back like a baby, needing a change. My only goal is to stand again, to walk, talk, and smile, not cry. Yet I can't seem to accept and I can't seem to forget, although I try.
Amen.
I'm still consumed and entombed with heavy, intense grief,
Yes.
and my nails still bleed from efforts made to get out, not quite complete.
Whew. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, that's something. Something else. Wonderful, wonderful. And by the way, we have plenty of time for all the poems you want to read. So
Mhm.
continue. We go to 2:30, so we good.
Mm.
Uh, but that was just absolutely wonderful, and I understand how you feel because as I've said, I was there at your father's funeral, and
Yeah,
yeah, and so you and your sister Robin, and I just I could see it.
especially when it comes suddenly
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah,
no
unexpected.
sickness, just here today and you're not. He was enjoying the Army and Navy game
Yes, he was just returning from the game.
and he never made it home.
No,
And
he
that's
did not. No,
it's
he did not.
incredibly sad.
Look me,
Um,
I got a call from his wife. Then Juanita, and told me that I was in shock. I could not believe it. But
so
that's
you can relate to the feelings in the poem
oh
that you
yes,
feel like you can't move. You're boxed in. You can't do anything. You can hardly cry over it. It's so shocking.
yes,
So yeah, these feelings have to come out. Um, for me, being a drama queen, I I I've always written out my feelings, and one thing is I edit and edit and edit until I can really feel the feeling that I had originally when I wanted to write it. As an actress, I find it a little easy to get back into the feeling of what I'm saying. And sometimes that's good, and sometimes it's not, because I've had readings where I literally started crying because I was so into the feeling that I wrote that I forgot what I was doing and I forgot I was in front of people and I got into my feelings. And that's what I want to have with poetry. That's what I want to instill in those wanting to write, is to make sure that those feelings are so genuine that you can feel them again.
yes. And we know one thing: a part of him will always be with you. We're just made up of our ancestors and our family and who we are, and just thank God for the gifts that you have been given by your ancestors, by your parents, and that
Yes.
you've been able to expound upon them and develop them because you're a very sensitive, caring, and very talented person yourself. And you've been granted the gift, and you're certainly using it very well.
Thank you.
Poetry is just wonderful. I'm just having a thrill. I'm just enjoying it. Continue.
Well, I'm really happy to be able to share this. And the other thing I just want to throw out there to anybody who's going to see this later, I'm just happy to be able to put on lipstick, you know,
Okay.
because of having to wear a mask all the time. All my lipsticks have been getting so dry. And I actually forgot what I look like with lipstick. So this is also so very
You
cool in
look
so
fine.
many
You look
ways.
fine. Yeah.
Okay, let's see what else I'm going to bring out. Well, how about I have a poem that I really, really liked. I shared this with uh, my high school. I went to an all girls prep
Yes.
school. called Philadelphia High School for Girls,
Right.
and we had the most beautiful marble hallway. And in the hallway was a replica of the statue called Winged Victory.
Mm.
And for those that don't know, mm, that's an amazing, amazing sculpture of a headless woman with wings. But the power behind her is incredible. I'm sure I equated it with the power that all of these women generated. It's a historic school, was 150 years old quite a few years ago. So the halls, those marble halls, held a lot of history. And Winged Victory Woman, yes, I am an alumna. Sometimes I feel like a soldier in battle, barely dodging minefields underfoot. At times, I'm a fireman, fighting flames erupting all around, surrounding me. And I can feel like a policeman, trying to maintain order out of chaos in my life. I feel I'm a doctor, diagnosing myself, and always attempting to treat someone else. Then I'm a teacher, a preacher, sharing the good I know because I'm daring to care. But it's the times when I feel small or I feel like I've failed, when I'm in need of a hug, a hand, an assurance of, yes, you can, that I remember I'm also a winged victory,
Mm.
standing proudly alone, bare feet planted firmly on solid ground. I remember I have power and wings to fly over, under, or around any obstacle ever found. Remember, winged victory is a headless woman who cannot feel the weight of the many hats I wear, nor can she ever see, hear, speak, or do evil, or feel the loads I bear. I'm a girl's high girl, and like winged victory, a fearless warrior. I am strong, intelligent, and beautiful while being faceless. So I am ageless, raceless, and most times fameless.
All right.
I am, and you too are a winged victory woman, victorious now and always. Remember.
All right. Beautiful. Fantastic. Certainly in keeping with Women's History Month, giving encouragement to young women, encourage them to be what they want to be in life and to go after those dreams.
Yes,
Dream victory. I love it.
yes. So again, we are every woman, aren't we? And every man is every woman too.
Man,
And every woman is every man too. We're all one.
I hear you.
And with that, we all share feelings. And I don't think there's any distinction between a man's feelings or a woman's feelings.
Yes.
And when you think about life, we all wear so very many hats.
Yes.
And it's amazing when you think about it, how we actually go through life with any with any ease, with all we have to deal with. And because my book, let's see, I think the rough draft was available just this past August, which means COVID had begun to take place, but it really, really wasn't what I thought or what we all thought, and we didn't think it was going to last quite this long at all. And it did. I have to also mention that so many of my poems seem to be prophetic. I have you know that every single poem that I wrote was written before my 2-year heart odyssey.
Oh,
And it seems as though some of them even kind of projected something happening or how to get over after this major thing happening. But I
yes.
had no idea these events were going to occur in 2017 and continue through to 2020. So the power of the word is very, very, very
Unbelievable.
strong. Very
Awesome.
strong.
Awesome. And there's a future. There's a past, but there's a future.
Yes.
The world's before you, and you heal, and you're moving ahead, and you finish your book, you put it out there, and there's other hills to climb, and mountains to climb.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for even better and greater things from
Yes.
Donna Elaine Hatchett.
So where are we going with this now? We're going to listen to another one of your wonderful little words or
You
mine?
well, I'm sitting back listening to you, and uh, I can do a little something.
Okay.
Loves music. We penetrated the spirit like musical instruments. We played love's melody. We move in time with the songs of life, blurred images of past romance, energy bursts, revived forgotten experiences. Negative thoughts, hostile feelings, fear blocked our pleasure. Guilt held on to a bleeding heart that longed for liberation. I cried out for love that frees the heart from pain and fear. Our spirit united and played never ending devotion. You touched my soul and became one with it. Like a musical instrument, our relationship played sweet music, unmoved by brief interruptions of the cycle.
Mm.
Loves music.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever done poetry to music?
Oh, absolutely. I have a CD.
Yeah.
I have a CD called "Love Notes from a Sensitive Man."
Ooh,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
Yes. But I'll have to send you a copy. But yes, I do.
Yeah.
I've made 2 CDs and I've written 6 books.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and this is one of my last books. It's called "When Sensitive Men Reach Out," and it's on Amazon. Available. But yeah, I have a CD that, and I do poetry to music. Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
Oh,
like to try that myself.
it would be an excellent idea. The music that you love, that you think really represents you,
Yeah.
and I do perform, and I generally have music when I perform of some kind,
Mm.
whether it be drums or instruments or organ,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And it
Some
really
type of percussion would be nice.
yes, it really complements you. And with your poetry, whew, and your ability to project, and music would just be another element.
I think that's my next project
Yeah,
to
yeah.
try here.
Yes,
And someone has to, I don't ever look at the clock. Someone has to give me an
no, you're
idea.
fine. I will give you the cue. Always just look to me, okay? You don't have,
Okay.
if I don't say you have a problem, you don't have a problem. So don't
Okay.
worry about it. Yeah, you just get the
All
cue.
right. Why don't I do this quick COVID one and then I want to end with one because I don't want to read my whole book because people have to go get it and read it
Okay.
themselves.
Well, we got about 20 minutes left in the show.
Okay.
And then
That's good.
we could do some other things. We can kind of talk about your journey a little bit. I can read a little bit, but we got quite a bit of time left. Okay.
Okay.
So if you got something else you want to read and you feel
I
like you
do.
want to share, go right ahead. And I'll find something also. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Let me go to. Oh, is it windy there today where you are?
Extremely.
Extremely?
Yes, a lot of wind, a lot of wind. In fact, we lost
Same
power
here.
briefly.
Why don't I do a poem that I've never done in
Okay.
public?
Okay.
It's about an extremely windy day. It's called Whoosh.
Okay.
And I'm finding it in my book. So, not only did I plan this book to make some kind of a sense, like even though it's poetry, I wanted people to, when they pick it up to be able to follow it a little bit,
Sure.
to make it organized. Before I wrote the book, I did a whole lot of research on women's poetry. And I wanted to see how other people did things, how they put it together. And I still wasn't I didn't see anything the way I would have done it. So that's why I did it the way I did. But I did find out a lot of nice things. I got a lot of ideas. Uh, so it was very helpful. Um, so I decided to put in a variety of poems with a whole bunch of different rhythms because that's the way I write. I write just how I feel. And I don't know if I have a style or whether I don't, but this is something I always wanted to do. I wanted to have a poem with every word starting with the same letter. Okay, let's see if this makes any sense to anybody but me. It's called Whoosh, and it's about this very wicked, wicked wind. Wednesday, wind, witch of the west, whizzed and whirled wildly wherever she wished without warning. Whoosh! What a wicked warrior! Willingly wielding weapons, waging war, while weak wardens watched warily. Whacking, wrecking at whim, whatever wavered with wild, wanton ways. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. What's wrong with this warped, wretched woman, whipping up winding whirlpools? Wounded, wailing witnesses winced, wondering, waiting, while windows whistled with waves of worsening wind. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. We would want and welcome a waltz with warm, whispering, whimsical winds while we waited. We wondered why wrathful, wicked wind witch of the West waged war with us and won Wednesday.
All right.
And that's
Wonderful. Wonderful. Whoosh. Very good.
that.
Let me
Whoosh!
whoosh.
I felt like I was Dorothy, in a house because my home
Oh
is
yeah.
my grandmother's, and it's a little cottage garage house. So I actually felt like the wind could twirl me away.
Right, right. Now the home that you live in, you said was it in here part of your family's home?
Yes, my mom's family. This was my grandmother's cottage, which is about 97 to 100 years old.
Okay.
And she passed it on to my Aunt Ruth. And when my Aunt Ruth passed on, nobody wanted it but me.
All
So
right.
I came in and I took it over, and I've been living here ever since.
Very
It's been
good.
about 12 years now.
Excellent. Well, I
Yeah.
have a daughter that lives not far from you. Tara,
Yes, she lives in Yonkers.
that's exactly right. She's my oldest child, my
Yes.
firstborn. And if you don't mind, I'd like to just share a poem that I wrote. I have three daughters,
Okay.
Tara, Keisha, and my youngest daughter is Maria.
Okay.
And so I wrote a poem to my daughters. And since this is women's history, I've always encouraged my daughters to do whatever they want in terms of their dreams, in terms of their life history, to go after it. And all of them have. I have to say, I am so proud of these young women.
That's a beautiful thing.
And this is to my daughters. You are growing into womanhood. Your beauty bursts forth like flowers on a summer day. You are full of life and energy. You love music and move in time with the sounds of songs from the soul. My dear, there are many dangers in this world for a young woman. I wish to protect, to provide, to contain you in a blanket of security, but it's not entirely possible. Go into the world, my daughter. Know that your father's love goes with you and you are secure within yourself.
Wow.
That's to my three daughters.
Aww.
And I've been very, 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 very happy. And I mean, you always have things and barriers that you have to overcome in life. But when I listen to your presentation and know the things that you dealt with Donna, I think it's absolutely wonderful. And I think one important thing about Women's History Book is to encourage and uplift young women because they don't get a lot of it.
No.
We were just talking about some friends about the March on Washington. And even though we enjoyed the I Had a Dream speech by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, we've beginning to realize that very few women had spoken.
Yeah.
There were women, what's the name, Elma Baker, for one. Uh, women like Gloria Richardson from Maryland, uh, Rosa Parks, who had but were not presenters at that day. And we as men have got to be conscious of that. Do not be so self-contained in terms of our own egos, and to realize, as you said, we're one. We're male, we're female, we're one, and that we be supportive of each other.
Yeah.
And so I like to walk that extra mile when it comes to be supportive. And I'm blessed to have the wife that I have, because she is truly Bill Hatcher's daughter. Bill Hatcher was Grand Master of the Veterans of Foreign War in Philadelphia. He was president of the Democratic Club in New Jersey, and now my wife is president of Link's organization.
Oh, okay.
And she's leading that effort with project after project.
That's great.
So it's important. So it's just good blood. That Hatcher blood is awesome.
I'm so happy. And thank you for joining the family all these years.
Well, thank you all for letting me in.
Yeah, well, you came with some stuff. You didn't come empty-handed. You brought something to the table.
Well, that's true. That's good. But it was, and I really appreciate your ability to communicate and share. Not everybody can do that, Donna. And one thing with your skills that you've learned in your modeling and your acting career and presenting is that communication, the ability to share those thoughts, those ideas, and connect with people. And so they begin to feel some of the things that you're presenting, which I think are wonderful. And I can understand you want to sit here and read the entire book. You got quite a few poems in this book, though.
I put 51 poems in there.
Yeah, and so and even if a person heard it, I think they want. In fact, that would encourage them to go and buy it. They don't need to hear it for the first time.
Sure.
Word dances, poems on point, because it's not only are the poems, then you integrate it with these beautiful illustrations and pictures. And I just love the whole design of the book. And you said this is your first book? I would think this would be your fifth or sixth. I mean, It's really, really put together well. And I'm not just saying that, but it's true. And you folks out there, go on Amazon, look up Dona Elena Hatcher.
Yes. And
Word dances, poems on point.
There we go.
There it is. There's the book.
And that's another selfie. I'm a avid phone photographer, I call myself. So that's I was on a photo shoot and decided to take my own picture. So
see that?
That's a selfie in the back. And I look different all the time, but my words are my words. So that will never change.
All your artistry, your presentation came together and produced the first book. Let's just say first. We can't limit you to one book.
Oh, absolutely not. I'm already thinking of the second one already.
See?
Yeah, but it was produced by published by Book Baby, and they actually did a fantastic job of the publication. Of course, promoting is up to us, and you do the best you can. I think this is, in a way, fortuitous about the time of COVID right now, because many people are staying home and revisiting things that they would not normally have time to do, like reading fiction and poetry, and even writing. So what's up next for me is to do a little class, and why not? Yeah.
That is a nice picture, very nice picture.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, hi.
Excellent picture.
So I want to end on an encouraging note, if I can.
Yes.
And I'll read, aptly titled, At Last. And amazingly, this one poem, we did have the graphics up a little earlier. If you could pull this back up again, because I would like to speak on it.
Pull it up. What number is that?
I don't know what page it's on because I hadn't pulled it, but somehow
Sure.
it showed up. And it's on page, well, glasses
There it
might help.
is. He has it.
It's on page 80.
There you go.
Yeah, at last. Hallelujah time. Alone under the painted tree. Shout, laugh, and cry freedom. Sharing its color. Sunsets reluctantly slow. Healing waters flow. Made it over hills, through deep valleys to be here. Grateful to see God. Sky high cotton clouds, magic multicolored leaves, fragrant flowers bloom, forgetting time past, new beginnings ahead now. Victory is mine. And the words behind that poem and the reason why I included pictures in the poem, sometimes the poem generates the prose and sometimes it's vice versa. But I saw this postcard and it just evoked, of course, it was a description of what I saw, but it was the woman in this victorious pose alone. It was just so me. And again, this was so meaningful once I finally recovered, as I said, from my 2-year odyssey in the hospital. I missed Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. I spent in a hospital gown 1 year. And then I spent the previous year and my birthday and every other day you can think of. I almost paid rent to the hospital. It was incredible. But that last one I wrote, At Last, is the feeling of victory over life, over negativity, over no, you can't do it, over, you probably won't recover. It's all of that. So I just wanted to end in an uplifting way, for all of us to keep the faith. We're all going through such hard times right now. But at last, we are still here.
Well, Donna, I do appreciate you coming on to Richard James Show. You've been an excellent presenter. Let me ask you this question. If someone wants to get in touch with you, are you open for making poetry presentations or acting or anything like that? Can someone
Yes,
contact?
actually, I'm available for readings
Okay.
and for classes,
Okay.
large or small. I've taught groups of senior citizens. I've also taught after school programs for high schoolers and how to vent feelings and how to put it together to make something. So yes, and of course for different group readings, I'm available for that,
And how,
live by Zoom or some other meeting way. And
how,
I really enjoy doing presentations and engaging people. And I'm so grateful for you to letting me come on and share my book and my writings. And this show is really good. I think it's really great.
well, thank you so much. How does one get in touch with you?
Okay, so you can reach me by email, which is the best. So that would be Donna, Dona, Elena, Elena, Hatcher, Hatcher, @gmail.com. So that's my full name, Donna Elena Hatcher @gmail.com. Please send me a note about anything, and I will get back to you and we'll connect and make something happen.
You got the information?
Also, if I can get discounted books to sell if you have a store or something, we can work out some type of a commission way. So, yeah, I'm open.
Well, Donna, I have a store.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, I have a store.
You do,
And I
don't you?
need to talk with you off the air about seeing if I can get some discounted copies directly from you that I can sell in my store.
There we go.
And that way I can continue to support you in that way.
That
And
would be
whenever
lovely.
I can, I'll be able to lift up and talk about it. Now we had a chance, and the people have had a chance to see you, to hear you, to feel you. I mean, it just was a wonderful presentation. And I'm going to close out the broadcast with a few
Sure.
points and some information that relate to the people. But I want to thank you for coming on.
Oh, it's been my pleasure.
And
Thank
let's
you,
not
cuz.
let's not make it the last show. You know,
You got
whenever you're
that.
ready, we want to lift you up and bring you back again because you do a tremendous
Well,
job.
thank you. And I'll always bring something a little fresh and something to think about and something to hear. Okay.
I'm sure you will.
It'll
Thank
be
you
my
so much.
pleasure.
All right. You take care now.
I will. Talk to you
Okay.
later.
All right. Uh, I am going to make some presentation, and I also want to say to folks, you've listened to Donna Elaine Hatcher, Mount Vernon, New York. Uh, in fact, I was just looking at a distinguished gentleman that's from Mount Vernon. What's his name? Denzel Washington,
Yeah.
and there are others. Uh,
Felicia Rashad and
Felicia
Nina
Rashad, who's
Simone.
another
Yeah.
one of my favorite. Uh, but what I want to do is to encourage folks to please go on Amazon or whatever, or contact Donna if you want to discount copies of the book, to give her that support. See, it's no good. It's one thing to say, hey, that's a great job. It's another thing to reach out and touch and be helpful. That's critically important.
It
Uh,
is.
you want to, and
And
we
we
want to
have to keep
support.
our Black writers working. We have
Right.
to keep them visual. And the only way to do that is to share.
That's exactly right. That's
This is
exactly right.
available at your favorite bookstore, online, almost everywhere at this point. And I would really welcome your support. And besides the fact, you have a really enjoyable book of poems and pictures.
Yes, indeed. And I just want to say to my audience, uh, we're still in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. We're at 35 South 8th Street. We're there. We're still selling African clothing, oils, books, CDs, jewelry,
Excuse me.
that kind of thing. So we're finished with that part, Chris, Donna, and we're moving ahead. I want people to come out and be supportive, and we will have some things that you can enjoy. I'm going to close out with a couple of poems, and and then we're going to end it off. Uh, the value of love. You're exciting. You carry the air of royalty, and I, the descendant of ancient kings, wish to share my life with you. I cannot to purchase your affection with rubies and diamonds. However, my goal is your goal. My heart is your heart. Speak to me softly, my dears. Tell me those sweet things I love to hear. You are a queen, a descendant of Chaka, the great granddaughter of Sheba. Your people are a noble race. They have built the pyramids and sailed around the world with Mansa Musa. You are indeed a woman of natural beauty, so exciting, so full of life, so unselfish and capable of love. Uh, Americans call you Sonia, the sun goddess. Your smile brings light in the world. Chris,
Sir,
you can cut out Donna's portion. She's finished.
okay, she's not on no more, sir.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right, there she
I'm
is.
back.
There she is. Okay, you're back. Good. Okay, we good. I misunderstood. That's just one poem. Uh, so we still have a few minutes left. Donna, we did our last thoughts and we kind of closed out. Is there anything else that you want to present?
Well, I could do that little COVID poem.
Okay.
Yeah. Glasses. I'm in denial. I'm sorry
It's okay.
about wearing glasses.
It's okay.
I still think I could just pick up a book and start reading.
That's all right.
Yeah. Let me figure out what chapter I put that in. Hmm. What is the name of it?
While you're looking, I'm going to read something, okay?
Okay.
You go ahead and take a look. It's been awesome. I know you got something all good. This is a poem that I wrote. I have a cousin by the name of Anthony Rogers. Anthony Rogers and I were very close, first cousins. And he would always say that he didn't think he would live to be 30 years old. And he would say it, and he didn't. He died at the age of 29. He was murdered in a public housing project. He was an insurance salesman. And so I wrote a poem to him called Anthony. It is not fitting that you should die in a silent ghetto amidst the loneliness of forgotten people. It is not fitting that one who cares so much should be cut off so early. Life is not often logical. God does not always reveal his plans to us mortals. All we know is that we hate that you left and that we love you. At this time, the simple truth of human existence tells us that life nor death has control over love. Though departed from our presence, you remain embedded in our hearts. We, God's children, are students in the field of life. You received the highest degree in this human school, doctorate of human compassion. You spoke when others were not speaking. When no one would visit, you'd come. It is not fitting that you should die because no one would help amongst the people you cared so much about, amongst the loneliness of desperate people. Dedicated to my departed cousin, Anthony Charles Rogers.
That's a good one. That's deep.
We got 3 minutes left. You got something for me?
Yep.
Go right ahead.
A poem for right now.
Ooh.
The coronavirus 2020. Okay. And as I said, this was written the first month. Right now, I want to be with people I know. People that make me glow, that make me squeal. Oh no, is that so? Right now, I want to see that smile with my eyes. Yours say what you can't disguise, while we, in person, co-empathize. Right now, I'd love to touch a familiar arm, a face, to share a hug, embrace, feel our hearts beat at the same pace. Right now, we must stay home in our own space. Right now, I implore, what is happening to the human race? I don't know.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful poem. And I hope you and people are taking this virus seriously. When you go out, wear your mask. Socially distance if you can. And Donna, you lifted up something that is just so critically important. And we talked about many things, but this virus is what's sweeping the country, and hopefully this vaccine will be able to curb some of this.
I certainly hope so.
Yes. We're in our last. Go ahead, Donna.
I was just saying that I, based on my medical history with my heart issues, I was fortunate enough to be able to get the vaccine early. Wonderful. So I am vaccinated, but it's not changing my behavior. You know, I'm still doing the mask and everything else that everyone else is doing. But inside, it does give me an extra little feeling of confidence. But
we're all right, fantastic. Yeah. We're at the end of the show.
Got it.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. I had such a good time, and thank you. You're wonderful.
Thank you so much, and we enjoyed you. You're wonderful. Thanks again.
Okay, we'll see each other soon.
Right, and thank you, Chris, and for
thank you, Chris,
the time to do this and creating the opportunity to do this. We're looking forward to more. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Everybody have a wonderful day. Be safe and be blessed, and God bless you.
Okay, and we'll talk again.
All right. So long.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you again for tuning in to the Richard James Show. Our African and our African American programs are set up to educate you on what's going on in this world. We thank you for taking out the time to listen. Let us hear from you sometime also. So this is your neighbor and your friend signing off. And so I'll see you again next week and hear from you again next week. So long. God bless.